The global order is broke. We are told that international law is a concrete wall, that sanctions are the ultimate weapon of the West, and that the dollar is the gatekeeper of global trade. We believe that if a nation is cut off, it starves. In reality, it doesn't. Right now, as you watch this, over 600 massive vessels, some the size of skyscrapers, are drifting through international waters with their eyes poked out. They have no names. They fly flags of countries that barely exist. They carry millions of barrels of sanctioned oil. This is not a conspiracy. It is a systemic evolution. While the world's diplomats sign papers in Geneva and DC, a parallel economy has been built in the shadows. It is the Dark Fleet. A multi-billion-dollar ghost infrastructure designed to ensure that no matter who is in power, the oil, and the money, never stops flowing. Disclaimer: the following analysis is based on maritime tracking data and geopolitical intelligence. It is intended for educational purposes. We are not documenting a crime wave, we are deconstructing a global shadow utility. Part 1: The Ghost in the Machine. Most people think of smuggling as a speedboat in the dead of night. That's small-time thinking. To move the volume of energy required to keep a sanctioned nation like Iran, Russia, or Venezuela from total collapse, you need a systemic solution. Imagine you're driving your car, but every time you pass a police officer, your license plate changes, your GPS says you're in a different state, and your car's VIN number belongs to a vehicle that was scrapped in 1994. That is the daily reality of AIS manipulation. Every commercial ship is required to carry an automatic identification system, AIS. It's a transponder that broadcasts the ship's position, speed, and identity to prevent collisions. For the Dark Fleet, the AIS is not a safety tool, it is a fictional device. The technique: spoofing and going dark. There are two primary ways these ghosts bypass the digital eyes of the world. Going dark: the ship simply turns off its transponder. One moment it's entering the Persian Gulf, the next, it is a 200,000-ton hole in the ocean. Digital spoofing: this is the high-stakes version. Through sophisticated software, a tanker in the South China Sea can broadcast a signal that makes it appear to be docked safely in a port in Brazil. According to data from Lloyd's List Intelligence, the number of tankers involved in these dark activities has grown by over 140% since 2022. This isn't a glitch. It is a feature of the New World Order. Part 2: The Shell Game, the Sovereign Gray Zone. You might ask, why doesn't the US Navy just stop them? Because the Dark Fleet is protected by the most powerful weapon in the world: legal complexity. To understand the system, you have to understand the flag of convenience. Every ship must be registered to a country. Most legitimate ships use flags from Panama or the Marshall Islands. But the Dark Fleet looks for flags of desperation. They register in places like Gabon, the Cook Islands, or Eswatini, a landlocked country in Africa that shouldn't even have a maritime registry. The ownership labyrinth. If you try to trace who owns a Dark Fleet tanker, you won't find a CEO. You will find a shell company registered in the Seychelles, owned by a holding company in Hong Kong, managed by a firm in Dubai, with a bank account in a jurisdiction that doesn't answer subpoenas. It is a distributed network. There is no head to cut off. If the US Treasury sanctions one company, the ship is sold for $1 to a new shell company the next morning. New name, new flag, same oil. As the late strategist Henry Kissinger once noted, the illegal we do immediately, the unconstitutional takes a little longer. The Dark Fleet operates in the space between the two. Part 3: The Mid-Ocean Handshake, STS Transfers. The most dangerous part of this system is the ship-to-ship, STS, transfer. Imagine two giants meeting in the middle of a storm. They huddle together, tethered by massive hoses. One ship, the dirty one, pumps millions of gallons of sanctioned crude into a clean ship. Once the transfer is done, the clean ship sails to a legitimate port. When the customs agents ask where the oil came from, the captain produces a fraudulent certificate of origin. It says the oil was produced in Malaysia or Oman. The data tells a grim story. In the last year alone, more than 50 incidents of collisions or near misses have been reported involving these aging, under-insured vessels. These ships are often 20 years old, past their retirement age. They carry no insurance because no Western firm will touch them. If one of these ships cracks open, there is no company to sue. There is no clean-up fund. The dark fleet is an ecological time bomb ticking in our oceans. Part 4. Why the system allows it. Here is the counterintuitive truth that most news outlets won't tell you. The West might actually want the dark fleet to exist. This is the ultimate systemic paradox. If the US and its allies truly, 100% successfully blocked every drop of Russian or Iranian oil from the market, the global supply would plummet. Gas prices would double overnight. Inflation would trigger a global depression. The price cap policy is a masterful piece of theater. It allows the West to say they're tough on Russia, while the dark fleet ensures that the oil still reaches China and India. The system doesn't want to stop the oil, it just wants to reroute the profits. We are living in a two-tiered global economy. Tier 1, the transparent world. High regulation, high taxes, slow growth. Tier 2, the shadow world. Zero regulation, high risk, massive liquidity. The dark fleet is the bridge between these two worlds. It is the release valve for the pressure of global geopolitics. Part 5, the human element. You might feel like this is a million miles away from your life. But think about your own shadow systems. Have you ever used a VPN to watch a show that wasn't available in your country? Have you ever paid cash for a service to avoid a surcharge? On a psychological level, we all understand the urge to bypass a gatekeeper. The dark fleet is simply that human instinct scaled up to the level of nation-states. It is the ultimate expression of the workaround. It proves that no matter how many digital fences we build, sanctions, blockchain, GPS, humanity will always find a way to move the things it values. But there is a cost. By opting out of the regulated world, these ships are opting out of the safety net. The sailors on these ships are often from developing nations. They are working on floating rust buckets with no insurance, no legal protection, and no guarantee of being paid. They are the human fuel for the shadow economy. Part 6, the future of evasion. The dark fleet is not shrinking. It is professionalizing. We are seeing the rise of shadow hubs, entire ports and storage facilities dedicated to the blending and relabeling of sanctioned goods. We are seeing the use of cryptocurrency to settle oil tanker payments, bypassing the SWIFT banking system entirely. The system is becoming autonomous. The more we use financial systems as weapons, the more we incentivize the world to build a world without us. Every time a sanction is leveled, the dark fleet gets a new ship. Every time a bank account is frozen, a new shadow bank is born. We are witnessing the de-dollarization of the physical world, one ghost ship at a time. Conclusion: the new reality. The dark fleet is more than just a fleet of ships. It is a warning. It tells us that our digital control over the world is an illusion. It tells us that power is not found in the laws we write, but in the physical reality of supply and demand. As long as the world needs energy, and as long as there is a profit to be made by breaking the rules, the ghosts will continue to sail. They are the systemic evolution of survival. And in the high-stakes game of global power, the shadows are winning. The question is no longer, how do we stop them? The question is, what happens when the entire world goes dark? The systems governing our world are changing faster than the headlines can keep up. If you want to understand the hidden mechanics of power before the rest of the world catches on, you need to be here. Subscribe to Global Ledger. We don't just report the news. We deconstruct the system. The truth is in the shadows. We'll see you there.